What's going on, everybody? I hope you're all well, and welcome back to Dragon Age Origins. So last episode, we got the mighty High Dragon finally defeated. We worked our way through the temple, dealt with most of the dragon cult, probably a couple of stragglers here and there. Now we're ready to head into this back place here, where, according to Colgrim, the Urn of Sacred Ashes still very much exists, which is going to be huge for Arl Eamon. Hopefully it does hold these magical properties we've been promised. We gotta get him up on his feet so he can help us with the blight. I suppose if not, Tegan would be a fine
Do you feel that?
addition, but
This place is
certainly not as good as Eamon.
infused with magic.
There's a lot of important things to take note of in here, specifically how much magic is involved. If you bring Liliana here, there are a lot of things that can happen that is important to note about the magic in this place.
I bid you welcome, Pilgrim.
Who are you?
I am the Guardian, the protector of the Urn of Sacred Ashes. I have waited years for this.
For me?
You are the first to arrive in a very long time. It has been my duty, my life, to protect the urn and prepare the way for the faithful who come to revere Andraste. For years beyond counting have I been here, and shall I remain until my task is done and the Imperium has crumbled into the sea.
The Imperium is no longer as powerful as it once was.
Ah, is it not? Then perhaps this is the beginning of the end.
Who are the men who have taken over the rest of the temple?
When my brethren and I carried Andraste from Tevinter to this sanctuary, we vowed to forever revere her memory and guard her. I have watched generations of my brethren take up the mantle of their fathers. For centuries they did this, unwavering, joyful in their appointed task. But now they have lost their way. They have forgotten Andraste and their promise.
So over time, the message of this place just got corrupted and turned into dragon worship instead of Andraste worship. And what about you? Who are you?
I am all that remains of the first disciples. I swore I would protect the urn as long as I lived. And I have lived a very long time.
It doesn't sound like you still live necessarily. The first disciples, did you know Andraste?
Did anyone really know her, save the Maker? She would sometimes spend weeks alone in meditation, often without food or water.
Please, tell me more about Andraste.
I cannot express in words my love for Andraste. You must seek her out for yourself. Everyone must.
How is it possible you have lived so long?
I made a vow to Andraste and to the Maker. My life is tied to the ashes. As long as they remain, so will I.
I don't think he's strictly alive in the traditional sense. He's somewhere in between life and spirit. What can you tell me about the Urn of Sacred Ashes?
You already know that the urn contains the remains of the prophet Andraste. What else is there to tell?
What do you know about these disciples of Andraste?
When my brethren and I carried Andraste from Tevinter to this sanctuary, we vowed to forever revere her memory and guard her. I have watched generations of my brethren take up the mantle of their fathers. For centuries they did this, unwavering, joyful in their appointed task. But now they have lost their way. They have forgotten Andraste and their promise.
So the dragon was not Andraste?
No. Our Andraste has gone to the Maker's side. She will not return. The dragon is a fearsome creature, and they must have seen her as an alternative to the absent Maker. and his silent Andraste. A true believer would not require audacious displays of power.
It's very true. It's not faith if you're not taking it on faith, right? I would like to see the urn.
You have come to honor Andraste, and you shall, if you prove yourself worthy.
I need the ashes to cure a noble man.
Still, you must prove yourself worthy. It is not my place to decide your worthiness. The gauntlet does that. If you are found worthy, you will see the urn and be allowed to take a small pinch of the ashes for yourself. If not...
What is the gauntlet?
The gauntlet tells the true pilgrims from the false. You will undergo 4 tests of faith, and we shall see how your soul fares.
Can you tell me anything else about this gauntlet?
You will understand what it is when you face it.
Very well. I will enter the gauntlet.
Before you go, there is something I must ask. I see that the path that led you here was not easy. There is suffering in your past. Your suffering, and the suffering of others. You abandoned your father and mother, leaving them in the hands of Rendon Howe, knowing he would show no mercy. Do you think you failed your parents?
Abandoned is a very harsh way to phrase what happened. No, I had to survive to tell Fergus that we were betrayed.
Then you do not dwell on past mistakes. Neither yours, nor someone else's.
It's easy for others to judge what you've done in hindsight, but it doesn't make it any better.
One wonders what this Guardian's purpose is. Be wary of his traps. It is sometimes difficult to see how our actions affect an outcome. But that does not mean our actions had no effect.
And what of those that follow you? Alistair, Knight, and Warden. You wonder if things would have been different if you were with Duncan on the battlefield. You could have shielded him from the killing blow. You wonder, don't you, if you should have died and not him?
Yes. If Duncan had been saved and not me, everything would be better. If I just had the chance, maybe I...
Ask your question, Guardian. I am ready.
You are ever the advisor, ready with a word of wisdom. Do you wonder if you spout only platitudes, burned into your mind in the distant past? Perhaps you are only a tool, used to spread the word of the Circle and the Chantry. Does doubt ever chip away at your truths?
You frame the statement in the form of a question, yet you already know our answers. There is no sense in hiding, is there? Yes, I do doubt at times. Only the fool is completely certain of himself.
And you,
A very good answer.
Morrigan,
Good luck with
Flemeth's
Morrigan.
daughter. What?
Begone, spirit. I will not play your games.
I will respect your wishes. The way is open. Good luck, and may you find what you seek.
I didn't expect Morrigan would be very forthcoming there, and honestly, if we had brought Stan, I think Stan might have took a swing. It's probably best we brought this party. Wynne, of course, had the wise answer to all of his questions. Yeah, there are a lot of people we can blame for what happened at the start of the game with Howe and our mother and father, but we aren't one of them. We can blame Howe, we can blame Logain, we can blame a billion things, but we aren't one of them. We did all that we could, and we made the best decision based on the choices we had at the end. Now here is a cool little game for anybody who likes riddles. This is actually going to be very fun. So, to start off with, who are we going to start with here? We'll start with Barona.
Echoes from a shadow realm, whispers of things yet to come. Thought's strange sister dwells in night, is swept away by dawning light. Of what do I speak?
Dwells in night and swept away in morning light is quite clearly referring to dreams.
A dream came upon me as my daughter slumbered beneath my heart. It told of her life, and of her betrayal and death. I am sorrow and regret. I am a mother weeping bitter tears for a daughter she could not save.
Now, all these people lined up here are actually relevant in some way to the Prophet Andraste, as you can see. Hesarian, there's Mafarath over there, Vasilia. We've read about most of these people inside codexes relating to her.
The smallest lark could carry it, while a strong man might not. Of what do I speak?
A small man carrying something while a strong man cannot is, from based on these options, quite clearly a tune.
Yes, I was Andraste's dearest friend in childhood, and always we would sing. She celebrated the beauty of life, and all who heard her would be filled with joy. They say the Maker himself was moved by Andraste's song, and then she sang no more of simple things.
If you answer these wrong, you are going to have to fight. Keep that in mind.
I'd neither a guest nor a trespasser be. In this place I belong, that belongs also to me. Of what do I speak?
Neither a trespasser belongs to you, but also he belongs to it. That would be your home.
It was my dream for the people to have a home of their own, where we would have no masters but ourselves. The enemy of my enemy is my friend, and thus we followed Andraste against the Imperium. But she was betrayed, and so were we.
Next up we have Lady Vasilia.
An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. The debt of blood must be paid in full. Of what do I speak?
This one is the most obvious of the bunch. That's clearly vengeance. They could have stopped an eye for an eye.
Yes, my husband Hesarian would have chosen a quick death for Andraste. I made him swear that she would die publicly with her war leaders, that all would know the Imperium's strength. I am justice. I am vengeance. Blood can only be repaid in blood.
So it is actually Hesarian's wife's fault that she was burnt at the stake. Now, we know a lot about Mafarath from our trips into the codexes, so this one should be rather easy too.
A poison of the soul, passion's cruel counterpart. From love she grows, till love lies slain. Of what do I speak?
So, based on everything we know about him and that it's love's counterpart, from passion it grows until passion is slain, that would be jealousy. The main reason he betrayed Andraste in the first place, because he was jealous of the affection she was getting from the people. Man was a great general, but he did not get the credit he deserved.
Yes, jealousy drove me to betrayal. I was the greatest general of the Alamari, but beside her I was nothing. Hundreds fell before her on bended knee. They loved her, as did the Maker. I loved her too. But what man can compare with a god?
Actually, a quite sad story. He became the second husband of Andraste, even though he technically married her first. And now we have Disciple Havard, like Havard's Aegis. We have read his Shield Codex, actually. We know a lot about this guy, too.
The bones of the world stretched towards the sky's embrace, veiled in white, like a bride greeting her groom. Of what do I speak?
The world's bones stretching towards the sky are, of course, the mountains.
Yes. I carried Andraste's ashes out of Tevinter into the mountains to the east, where she could gaze ever into her Maker's sky. No more fitting a tomb than this could we find.
And now we have the man himself, Archon Hesarian.
She wields the broken sword and separates true kings from tyrants. Of what do I speak?
Now, anybody who knows anything about Archon Hesarian from reading all the codexes, I actually mentioned it earlier, is the Sword of Mercy is what happened when he plunged his sword into Andraste's heart to put her out of her misery on the bonfire. So of course, his answer is mercy.
Yes, I could not bear the sight of Andraste's suffering, and mercy bade me end her life. I am the penitent sinner, who shows compassion as he hopes compassion will be shown to him.
We have one more riddle left to solve.
No man has seen it, but all men know it. Lighter than air, sharper than any sword. Comes from nothing, but will fell the strongest armies. Of what do I speak?
Of course, anybody who knows military history and what has often happened tactically to a lot of armies that would have otherwise won, you will know that the bane of armies out of all of these is often hunger.
Yes, hunger was the weapon used against the wicked men of the Tevinter Imperium. The Maker kindled the sun's flame, scorching the land. Their crops failed, and their armies could not march. Then he opened the heavens and bade the waters flow, and washed away their filth. I am Cather, disciple of Andraste and commander of her armies. I saw these things done, and knew the Makers smiled on us.
And that is it for our riddles section. I actually love this section. I love riddles and wordplay like that, so I always find it interesting. Now here you see something we did not expect. The ghost or projection of our father. However, this is here.
My dearest child.
I wish it were not so, but I know you are dead.
You know that I am gone, and all your prayers and wishes will not bring me back. Pup, I know you miss me, but my death and my life will no longer have a hold on you. This is how it should be. Set your eyes on the horizon. Do not look back, and do not falter. You have such a long road ahead of you, and you must be prepared. And so I leave this in your hands. I know you will do great things with it.
We actually did just receive an item, which is going to be a necklace called Reflection. Gives us 1 constitution and 15 to healing effects received. It's not something we're going to be using, but still. I would like to believe that perhaps that was maybe at least channeled from the spirit of our father. Likely just the Guardian using his image, though. Now here is actually a very interesting little thing. We have our entire party turned against us. And given that we know there's 2 mages there, we're just going to open with Mana Clash. Morrigan almost dead to that instantly. He's the problem. Wins the secondary issue. Now that Wynn's down, this all gets very easy. We'll take ourselves first. He's the DPS. And now we just have a lonely tank. Might be tough to kill, but ultimately can't do much by himself. You see, he did just use Alistair's Templar ability, which took our buffs away from us. We don't have flame weapons anymore. Gotta go ahead and recast that. A nice little tip of what friendly fire actually does to you. For that ability, now that Alistair has it. Alrighty, this is an interesting one. We gotta build this bridge here. You'll see as soon as we step onto something, the kind of things we're dealing with. We are gonna go ahead and unselect our whole party. Now that they're holding position, you are gonna want to keep them still. As you see, as we step on this, it's gonna start building something. Now, I do have a list here of the way we need to do this, so I'll go ahead and show you guys the solution to this little puzzle. Slowly but surely, we'll work our way across. That's the first 2 done. Now we need to move across.
Hello.
Now we move Morrigan off 3. We swing her all the way around to right number 4, which would be this one right here. Okay. And then we take the one from right 2 to left 1. That would be Alistair. He's gonna move here. Then we're gonna move our character forward once again. Now, we move our character on left 6 to right 5, so we're going to take Wynne off left 6, and we're going to swing her all the way around to right 5. That's going to start opening that one. And then we're going to move the character from right 4 to left 5, so Morrigan is going to hop off. She's going to swing all the way around to left 5. Which is here. That in turn is going to build the final bridge. And we're across.
Andraste only favored the clever, it seems.
And we have one last trial. See the urn up there.
I thought it was a legend. I didn't believe.
This altar is little more than a dusty stone slab. You can make out an inscription carved into its face. Cast off the trappings of worldly life, and cloak yourself in the goodness of spirit. King and slave, lord and beggar, be born anew in the Maker's sight. Now, we actually read codexes about this, how people would often strip themselves naked to cleanse themselves. A very good gameplay hint for this. Remove equipment. And of course, now we have our equipment off, we can just walk across the flame.
You have been through the trials of the gauntlet. You have walked the path of Andraste, and like her, you have been cleansed. You have proven yourself worthy, pilgrim. Approach the sacred ashes.
I absolutely will. And the game is kind enough to auto-equip all of our things back on for us. My party almost died coming through the flames. Of course, this makes you wonder how real all these holy relics and the tale of Andraste and the Maker is.
Finding Andraste's final resting place. But here she is.
I stand in awe. Really?
I could not have asked for a greater honor than to be here. I will never forget this feeling.
These are the earthly remains of Andraste, prophet and bride of the Maker. Now, the fact that this melee exists and holds healing properties would lend credence to the fact that Andraste and the Maker's story is somewhat true. Now, if the Maker is real and Andraste is real, and this whole gauntlet of spirits and proving yourself worthy is real, then surely that adds also credence to the story of how the Darkspawn existed, the seed of the Maker, the Magisters, all that stuff. Maybe it's real, maybe Andraste was a mage, maybe the Maker is a mage. It is never really specified, but the fact that such a holy relic like this exists does definitely make you wonder what the possibilities are of this. Of course, we're just going to take a pinch. We don't need the whole thing. We just need a couple pinches for Arl Eamon. You take a pinch of the ashes and place it in a leather pouch. Leave the urn alone. And we have Ceremonialist. Now, of course, we are going to loot these up before we leave.
This should be easy enough.
Unfortunate adventure, we have a golden demon pendant and the belt of the Magister Lord, so this guy was a Magister at some point. You get 3 spell power for that, so I am going to make space for it. Bear with me 1 second. Gotta find something in here to dismantle. The Novice Slow Rune can go. It's Novice. Take the belt of the Magisters. There is some chests back here. Mainly want the XP. We'll take the ruby though too. That's actually going to be very useful when we finally get the dwarves. What are we going to dismantle for you? We'll get rid of the large wooden round shield. I think there's one more chest around the back. The brother Genitivi is going to be beside himself. He's not going to believe what we found. This takes us back to the mountaintop. Wynne has a level up. Let's take care of this. What are we giving you, Wynne? We'll give you 2 willpower and 1 magic. Where were we on your skill tree? We maxed out her arcane mastery last time, so that does free us up. We have a lot of options here. Haste turned out to be a giant waste of our time, but not to worry. I suppose, ultimately, we can start giving her some debuffs, the same as we give Morrigan. It's more spam, right? The more things that can be debuffed on the field, the better. You saw how effective it was against the High Dragon. Now if we can have 2 mages doing that across the entire battlefield, it's gonna turn everything into a bloodbath. Since we are done, we are gonna drop this save right here. And I'm actually gonna swing down the right path that we haven't taken yet. Fun fact too, if you play this game on console, you won't get the horn from Colgrim. There'll be a little horn you blow right here. I'm not sure why they couldn't make the horn work on console, but there you have it. That's a PC exclusive thing. Takes us back into the ruined temple. And you will recognize this place. This is where the cave-in was, with the old knight that we looted. So this is taking us right back to Brother Genitivi. Can't wait to give him the good news. He's going to be beside himself. Boy, oh boy, Genitivi, you're not going to believe it. It's all real, your faith. It's all confirmed.
Welcome back. You were gone for quite some time. Well, did you find it?
Show Genitivi the pouch of ashes.
Is that? Oh, there's some dust on... No, that's not dust. Omega, I'm not worthy to look upon. What was it like, coming to the urn, I mean?
Grueling. There were tests.
Tests? Interesting. Very interesting. Perhaps my research will not seem so much like blasphemy to the Chantry now. We must organize an expedition. There is so much history here, it must be studied. And pilgrims should be allowed to come to the urn.
Now, here is a huge decision. You can either return the urn to the people, you can keep it for yourselves, or you can say it's not wise. Many will try and exploit this discovery. Now, given Andraste was a woman of the people, she celebrated slaves and everybody alike, I think we kind of owe this to the world to make this known. There are so many faithful in the world that would be bolstered morale-wise and just living better lives by knowing this is a thing. It is not something that's in our purview to keep from the rest of the world. That's not our job. We got what we wanted, and now we can put it in the hands of people who are more qualified to make this choice. So, yes, the Urn of Sacred Ashes must be shared with the world.
And eventually, it shall be exploited by the rich and the powerful, as these things usually are.
I must return home.
She's not wrong, but we're not political, we're a warden.
Please visit me. I am not a rich man, but I have a small collection of interesting artifacts, and I do owe you a reward for coming to my rescue. I hope to see you soon, my friend.
We will definitely keep that in mind. Yeah, political decisions about who can and can't, like, exploit things and who's gonna keep what, that's not up to us. At the end of the day, we're a warden. We're not a businessman. It's not our decision who gets to keep or share or any of that nonsense. That's not up to us. That is purely up to the people who are more qualified to make that decision, so I just take that out of my own hands. Now, we are gonna head on back to Redcliffe. There's no reason not to at this point.
You're awake. Did you feel it too? It was like the archdemon saw us. Saw us! What does that mean? I think... Wait. Did you hear that?
I do hear that. And we're being attacked in our camp by Darkspawn. It seems the archdemon detected us in our sleep and sent its little assassins. We know all about Shrieks being the assassins of the Darkspawn. Got momentum up. Unfortunately now these Shrieks are gonna have absolutely nothing for us. Zevran managed to get himself killed somehow, but the rest of my party is gonna hold up very well. I bid them very good luck trying to deal with my whole party like this. Of course we can't micromanage anybody, so it is gonna be a little awkward. We have no taunts. It seems like the only one who managed to get himself killed is Zevran. Morrigan is actually down there too. Shale giving him hell. And on your feet, everybody.
I guess it's like Duncan once said. We can sense them, and they can sense us. We'd best be more careful from now on. This camp isn't safe any longer.
Indeed.
Will they send next? Darkspawn tax collectors?
Fortification should be built around the camp.
How unnerving.
It will be more difficult to sleep here now.
What, no trap? No ambush? Huh. Some assassins.
It is done. Let us move on.
There's definitely a progression in the Darkspawn aggression. Sending a bunch of assassin shrieks into our camp. Definitely confirms that it is Bly and that is the archdemon, intelligent as he is, trying to kill the Wardens. Also shows that he's feeling a little fearful of us. As he should.
As you wish.
We are going to be the bane of that dragon one day.
Yes.
Yes, indeed.
Let's head on back to Redcliffe. We have Logain's main foil to wake up from slumber. Which also means we're going to have Jowan's blood mage ass to deal with too. I've actually just realized that I had no need to come to the village. I could have gone straight to the castle. Mosey on up. Tegan, boy, have I got some good news for you. Everybody in Redcliffe, actually.
You return. Might you have news?
What is Eamon's condition?
Unchanged, I'm afraid. We've tried more magical healing, but nothing works. As time passes, I become more and more convinced the urn might be our only hope.
I found the urn.
You have? Wonderful. Let us go at once to Eamon's side and see if the urn's healing powers live up to their reputation.
I guess this is the final test to see if the ashes are really the ashes of legend.
Where am I?
Be calm, brother. You have been deathly ill for a very long time. Do you remember nothing?
Tegan? What are you doing here? Where is Isolde?
I am here, my husband.
And Connor? Where is my boy? Where is our son?
He lives. Though many others are dead. There is much to tell you, husband.
Dead? Then it was not a dream.
Much has happened since you fell ill, brother. Some of it will not be easy for you to hear.
Then tell me. I wish to hear all of it. This is most troubling. There is much to be done, that is true. But I should first be thankful to those who have done so much. Grey Warden, you have not only saved my life, but kept my family safe as well. I am in your debt. Will you permit me to offer you a reward for your service?
If you like, I won't object.
Then allow me to declare you and those traveling with you champions of Redcliffe. You will always be a welcome guest within these halls. And for you, Warden, a shield of the same make as those that have been given to our finest knights.
Thank you, Your Grace.
We should speak of Logain, brother. There is no telling what he will do once he learns of your recovery.
Logain instigates a civil war even though the Darkspawn are on our very doorstep. Long I have known him. He is a sensible man, one who never desired power.
I was there when he announced he was taking control of the throne, Eamon. He is mad with ambition, I tell you.
Mad indeed. Mad enough to kill Kaelin, to attempt to kill myself and destroy my lands. Whatever happened to him, Logain must be stopped. What's more, we can scarce afford to fight this war to its bitter end.
On that we agree. I have heard actually a lot of interesting theories on Logain and why he is taking these actions that he is in this game. I've heard theories that that's not actually Logain, that it's an envy demon. The real Logain is off dead somewhere and an envy demon took his place. I don't think that's true, just based on where the games go if you do certain outcomes with Logain. But it is interesting to think about. He has a laundry list of reasons why he could take all these paths that he's taken, but like Eamon said, Eamon has known him forever. He's a sensible man. He never wanted power. And yet, here we are. But you can unite the nobility against Loghain, can't you?
I could unite those opposing Loghain, yes. But not all oppose him. He has some very powerful allies. We have no time to wage a campaign against him. Someone must surrender if Ferelden is to have any chance at fighting the Darkspawn.
But once everyone learns what he's done...
I will spread word of Loghain's treachery, both here and against the king. But it will be but a claim made without proof. Those claims will give Loghain's allies pause, but we must combine it with a challenge Loghain cannot ignore. We need someone with a stronger claim to the throne than Loghain's daughter, the Queen.
Are you referring to Alistair, brother? Are you certain?
I would not propose such a thing if we had an alternative, but the unthinkable has occurred.
You intend to put Alistair forward as king? I think it's a great idea.
Tegan and I have a claim through marriage, but we would seem opportunists no better than Loghain. Alistair's claim is by blood.
And what about me? Does anyone care what I want?
You have a responsibility, Alistair. Without you, Loghain wins. I would have to support him for the sake of Ferelden. Is that what you want?
But I... No, my lord.
I see only one way to proceed. I will call for a landsmeet, a gathering of all of Ferelden's nobility in the city of Denerim. There, Ferelden can decide who shall rule, one way or another. Then the business of fighting our true foe can begin. What say you to that, my friend? I do not wish to proceed without your blessing.
Right, let's see. My blessing? Why do you need my blessing?
None of this would be possible without you. You led Alistair here. You saved my life with the Urn of Sacred Ashes. It's your lead I follow. I am a credible enough figure in this nation to call the landsmeet, but I hold no illusions that I could face Loghain without you. Surely you see that.
Wouldn't it be easier to simply kill Loghain?
I'm not sure that would help our cause. We would become the criminals, and our accusations would become excuses. Furthermore, I'm not even certain where Loghain might be.
What's stopping Loghain from just attacking Redcliffe?
Why do you think he had me poisoned? He wanted me gone without having to confront me directly. If I call for a landsmeet, refusing the compromise and attacking Redcliffe will only support our accusations. I'm sure he'd rather I died from the poison. Had the demon not interfered, that's exactly what would have happened.
Do you think this landsmeet idea will work?
That depends. If we cannot get a consensus in the landsmeet for Alistair, we cannot afford to oppose Loghain either. Does that mean Loghain could win? A man who killed his own king, who has gone mad with power? Perhaps. We must see that he does not.
Yeah, we won't be letting that happen. But what about the Darkspawn?
Ferelden must stand united to defeat the Darkspawn. A fractured nation will not defeat the Blight, even given my army and those gathered with your treaties.
What are my options?
You have already found allies, but we need those to fight Darkspawn. I truly believe the landsmeet is our best option. We could attempt to wage a military campaign against Loghain, but even if we win, would we have enough left to defeat the Darkspawn?
Likely not.
But neither would Loghain.
Perhaps Loghain gambles on this attitude, that everyone will decide facing the Darkspawn is more vital than facing him, so that he leads us against the Horde.
But he's gambling wrong. It seems we have little choice.
Very well. I will send out the word. But before we proceed, I believe there is the matter of the mage, my son's tutor. He still lives, I understand.
He does. He is in the dungeon, brother.
Have him brought here, Tegan. I wish to see him. Jowan, what you have done is not in question. You tried to assassinate me and set into motion a series of events that nearly destroyed everything I cherish. What have you to say in your own defense?
Nothing, my lord. Other than to say I am sorry. I expect no mercy for what I've done.
I see. Grey Warden, have you anything to say on Jowan's behalf?
Honestly, it's not my problem, it's not my decision to make. I'm not interested in bringing Jowan into the Wardens, and for all that he really did to help here, he kind of just told us it was possible to go into the Fade. Any mage could have told us that. Irving is the one that performed the ritual, the Circle Tower is the one that supplied delirium, and Morrigan is the one that went into the Fade. Jowan did nothing here but give us a little bit of advice. And the first port of call he was given us was actually to perform another blood ritual. He's a blood mage through and through, and I don't think he can be trusted, and I also don't think it's up to me to decide his punishment. So, I have nothing to add. I'm just gonna let this play out.
Then there is nothing more to say. Jowan, I hereby sentence you to death. May the Maker show you the mercy we cannot.
Thank you, my lord.
Now, back to the matter of the Landsmeet. It will take some time to recall my forces and organize our allies. I would prefer to wait until that is done before calling the Landsmeet. In the meantime, I suggest you pursue the remainder of the Grey Warden treaties. We will need all the allies we can get if we are to defeat the Darkspawn horde.
Very solid advice from Arl Eamon, and now we have the Hero of Redcliffe. And the level up to boot. We also unlock the Champion specialization. Go ahead and drop our level up here. We're going to go ahead and put 2 into Cunning, 1 into Willpower. Well, it seems like we just put straight up 3 into Cunning. My mistake. We'll take it. Now, in terms of what we have left here, we don't really have much. We have Poison Making, which is not going to mean anything. Trap Making, it's not going to mean anything. Stealing, so-so, you know. So, I guess... what do Tactics do? You quickly in battle and consequently gains a combat tactics slot. I suppose, given that we don't really have anything here that's of use to us, we'll just go ahead and drop another tactics slot in. And that'll be that. Alright guys, we're going to wrap this one up here. It's been a pretty long episode. We did cut off a huge amount of loose ends here. Now if you look at our current quests, we really only have Paragon of her kind. We have a couple for the Blackstones to clean up. The Mages Collective is actually ready to turn in the Scroll of Banastor, which we'll do while we're in Redcliffe. Then we gotta go back to Denerim for a couple things too. But for the most part, we're almost about ready here to wrap the game up. We gotta go to Orzammar and get the dwarves on board, and then we're ready to face off with the Loghain, Howe, and the Archdemon. I'll let you guys decide which of those 3 is the worst. Anyways, that's enough rambling from me. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe, leave a like and a comment. If you want to support the cause and help improve the channel, as always, there is a tip link in the description below. Otherwise, stay tuned and I'll see you guys soon with more Dragon Age Origins. Have a good day, guys. Take care.